Julius Caesar, one of history's most iconic figures, a brilliant general, a shrewd politician, and a man whose ambition reshaped the Roman world. But on the Ides of March in 44 BCE, Caesar's life was brutally cut short by a group of senators who feared his growing power. His assassination plunged Rome into chaos, ultimately ending the Republic and ushering in the Roman Empire under Augustus. But what if that fateful day never came? What if Julius Caesar had survived the Ides of March? How would the course of history have changed? Today we explore a fascinating alternate reality, a world where Caesar lived on. To understand the impact of Caesar's survival, we first need to revisit what actually happened. On March 15th, 44 BCE, a group of senators, including Brutus and Cassius, stabbed Caesar 23 times in the Senate chamber. They believed they were saving the Republic from a dictator who threatened to become king. Their plan, however, backfired spectacularly. Instead of restoring the Republic, Caesar's death triggered a series of brutal civil wars. Mark Antony, Caesar's loyal ally, clashed with the conspirators, and then Octavian, Caesar's adopted heir, rose to power. Ultimately, the Republic was dismantled and the Roman Empire was born. Before his assassination, Caesar was already reshaping Rome. He reformed the calendar, created new colonies for veterans, expanded the Senate to include more representatives from the provinces, and restructured the tax system to be fairer. His reforms aimed to stabilize Rome and integrate its vast territories. Caesar envisioned a Rome that was stronger, more centralized, and more inclusive. He wanted to reduce corruption and inefficiency, and he sought to extend Roman citizenship to more people across the empire. Had he lived, it's likely these reforms would have continued and deepened. The Senate, though expanded, would have been carefully managed to support his vision. Rome might have evolved into a more autocratic state, but one with a more efficient and fair administration. One of the most immediate effects of Caesar's survival would have been the prevention of the civil wars that tore Rome apart after his death. Mark Antony and Octavian, who fought bitterly for control, may have remained loyal supporters or at least been sidelined peacefully. The conspirators, Brutus, Cassius, and their allies, would have faced punishment or exile, but the Republic would not have collapsed into chaos. Instead of a violent power struggle, Caesar might have consolidated his power and gradually transitioned Rome from a fragile republic into a more stable autocracy. The title of dictator for life that he held at the time of his death suggests he was already moving in that direction. Would this have been a monarchy in all but name? Possibly. But with Caesar's charisma and political skill, it might have been a smoother, less bloody transition than what actually happened. Caesar was not just a politician, he was a military genius with grand plans for expansion. At the time of his assassination, he was preparing a campaign against Parthia, Rome's powerful eastern rival. Had he lived, Caesar might have led a successful eastern campaign, extending Rome's borders further into Asia. This would have increased Rome's wealth, influence, and security. A victorious Caesar returning from the east would have further solidified his power and prestige. Moreover, his military campaigns could have accelerated the Romanization of new territories, spreading Roman culture, law, and infrastructure deeper into Asia. Caesar's survival would also have profound social and cultural consequences. He had begun granting Roman citizenship to many provincials, a move that helped integrate the empire's diverse peoples. This policy might have expanded, creating a more unified Roman identity across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. Caesar's relationship with Cleopatra, the Queen of Egypt, was also significant. Their alliance brought Egypt closer to Rome. Had Caesar lived, Egypt might have become a more integrated client kingdom, or even a province earlier than it did historically. This could have altered the balance of power in the Mediterranean and changed Rome's cultural landscape, blending Egyptian and Roman traditions more deeply. What about the long-term legacy of a Caesar who lived? The Roman Republic might never have fully collapsed in the violent way it did. Instead, Caesar could have gradually transformed it into a new form of government, a principate or monarchy with republican elements. This might have delayed or altered the rise of the Roman Empire as we know it. The Julio-Claudian dynasty, founded by Augustus, might have looked very different or might not have existed at all. A stable, Caesar-led Rome could have influenced the development of Western civilization in profound ways. Roman law, governance, and culture might have spread more rapidly and extensively. The spread of Christianity, which flourished under the empire, could have followed a different path depending on Caesar's policies and successors. Even European history might have shifted. A stronger, more centralized Rome could have shaped medieval and modern Europe differently, affecting everything from language to political institutions. So what if Julius Caesar was never assassinated? Rome might have enjoyed greater political stability, avoiding the bloody civil wars that followed his death. Caesar's reforms could have transformed the Republic into a more efficient and inclusive autocracy. His military ambitions might have expanded Rome's borders and influence even further. Socially and culturally, the empire might have become more unified, with deeper integration of its diverse peoples. History, as we know it, would have been dramatically different. Yet this alternate history reminds us of the unpredictability of human events. One man's survival could have changed the fate of an empire and the course of Western civilization. And so the story of Julius Caesar continues to captivate us, a reminder of power, ambition, and the fragile threads upon which history hangs. If you found this story important, like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more deep dives into history.